It's not a
Why?
thing. No,
Good.
nobody
I
says
think
good midnight.
no one
Yeah,
says good midnight. Why do you think no one says good midnight? I think there's a logical reason. Why do you think?
because we go to bed at 10.
Because I'm asleep by that time. No, I don't think that's the reason.
Um,
Um, 1 second. Yeah. No one says good midnight because midnight only lasts technically for like a minute. No one's going to say good midnight because it is fleeting. Good morning is like, meridian, and then afternoon is post meridian, and then nighttime can be like a few hours. No one's saying good midnight. It lasts for no time whatsoever.
well, doesn't stop you looking for sex everywhere if even though it doesn't last for more than a minute.
What? 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 You know, I have no words. I have no words.
Good midnight. Just say good midnight from now. Well, so we had some technical difficulties, but what I was saying is that I'm crazy. That was the gist of. No, I'm saying that I have this voice in my head that keeps saying like I gotta do this and do that, and if I do the stuff I'm supposed to do, which is like I don't know, it's maybe people are supposed to do what they supposed to do, but I guess I do a lot of things as well. Like if I like I don't like having free time. I don't enjoy going like to the beach and sit down. Like that sounds like crazy to me to go to the beach and just relax and read a book.
Well, it's pretty
Like
hard to do it in London anyway. I don't know where you're going to be going to, but anyway, Isle of Dogs or something. What are you going
I
to do in
never said
London
in
then?
London. I don't know why you assume. I'll just put on a towel and go outside. Like, where's the beach?
Do you think that
Everyone says that's crazy as well. Like, there's no
do
beach.
you think that inability to relax and to not be in constant like productivity mode stems back from like a childhood trauma, or do you think it's something that we all have? But I'm not joking.
You ain't
I
gonna
don't know why you're laughing.
you
I'm
know,
not joking about childhood trauma. I
yeah.
believe that adverse childhood experiences shape who we are. Like maybe
No, because
someone was like, "You're not good
no,
enough, Ashkan. You're not good enough. You're not. You're just not." And now you have to look for reason in everything you do.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think it's partially it is like some people enjoy being relaxed and just not do like it's not like I'm like always like going like being productive and like non-stop. Like I have moments to just sit down and just watch a TV show, but even
Moments
watching a
when you
TV show that
moments when you take off the cape and stop saving the world and everyone, and
uh,
even heroes need some time off, right, Ashkan?
um what was saying, I even feel guilty if I like spend the night and watching TV shows and stuff because there's always so much to do, and I don't know, it feels like waste of time. It feels like my time being stolen from me almost. Like like even as I'm getting older as well, like I feel that about people around me. I feel that about like even watching a TV show. I'm like, oh, this is a cast and crew that made this thing that it's theirs. Why am I wasting my time watching?
Wow. So there's a deeper
Mm,
interaction with the wider
uh,
world, not just how you
uh,
see yourself in it. Do you think that has
uh.
something specifically to do with your job, the demands of your job, or have you always felt that since as long as you can remember?
I think it was it's just getting to more aspects of my life, but yeah, it's always been like that. Like it might have been like the things I do. That I say like I shouldn't like act this way or that way, but now it's more like everything might be a competition sort of thing.
Right.
That it is a competition for your time. Everything like the social media is competition to get your time as much as possible.
That's
And
sure. That's the entire
it
business
is
model.
it is kind of weird that if you see like how much time you spend on those sort of things, you are having your life stolen from you, and your choices stolen from you by being fed whatever. Um,
But you are
but
also a willing participant. It's not
are
as
you
though
a
you're
willing
under
participant?
duress.
Well, it's like saying, I don't know, because as you know, like they do work like drugs as well. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think I'm conflating issues too with like social media is different matter than trying to relax. Um, so I don't know. I don't think anything's wrong with it. Like always wanting to be on the go and doing things. That's your life choice. Like, oh, you can just relax. That's also your life choice. But I think just constantly having this voice in your head saying like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I think that's the only thing that is
Now,
wrong.
I don't want to like pathologize anyone. I think it's dangerous to pathologize someone if you're not a professional. But have
Mm.
you ever thought it could be to do with an overactive, hyperactive mind? I mean, you're very high functioning, you're successful, but many people who are like that, who find it hard to switch off, there tends to be some kind of neurochemical imbalance that could be diagnosed loosely as like maybe ADHD or a spectral disorder. Not to pathologize you, but have you ever thought about that?
Yes. But I mean, you've known me for I don't know how many years, 20 years or something. Does it look like I have any issues mentally ever?
Well, I mean, no, I would say no. I would say, but
No,
mental illness
I
is.
was just as I'm passing you the ball. I thought you're gonna score. Like,
Yes, you're a nutter. No, no, but mental illness is the invisible ailment. But I would also go a little bit deeper and say the feelings that you're feeling, I think they're present in most people. I think most people have the feeling of wanting to achieve more, not being able to relax, especially in the world where it's like ubiquitous technology, all encompassing social media, but also going back atavistically to like your basal ganglia, where it literally is all about just survival, moving on, making sure you secure certain. Maybe you just had a more active basal ganglia region
mm,
where your survival mechanism is productivity rather than like looking for the next foraging opportunity. Maybe that's what it is.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that like for example, if like I started randomly learning mathematics again.
Right.
Like few days ago, like using ChatGPT to try to relearn this stuff. Because if you remember in school, like I was like the best, if not the
Okay.
best
All
ever.
right. Okay. Okay. What?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
We never were in the
Um.
same class, were we?
I don't know. But
Yeah.
what branch of mathematics were you looking up? Because I've been doing the same thing recently. I've been relearning maths recently
That's
just to keep my
interesting.
brain active.
Yeah. No, I just asked ChatGPT to start testing me on stuff and like see where we go from there. And like did some algebra, which is my strong suit, I think. Um, I can do most of it in my head if it's simple. But like geometry was always like the thing that I didn't like that much. Anyway,
But
but I
isn't
started. uh,
geometry is more like memorizing formula, though, right? Like some of it, you have to just know formula.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
not
the thing
intuitive.
though. Now that I, as an adult, it's different learning. Like before, I could just easily say, "Oh, that's the formula for that," and I'm like, "Okay, I memorize that and I remember everything." But now I'm
Mhm.
like you do start asking more fundamental questions. So I was, because like I was like asking ChatGPT, "Okay, how is pi calculated?" And like,
Right.
why is pi calculated?
Right. And do you know why? Did you
Mm.
find out?
Yes, to some point. Like I was saying, how no, uh, uh, I was reading how Archimedes calculated it,
Yeah, it's
but then
super interesting. It's
yeah,
super
yeah,
interesting how they
and
like
how
construct.
Egyptians, Sumerians, they all try to
Yeah,
calculate it. That's interesting. Yeah.
they found like to find the area of like a rectangular shape is easy because you can like dissect it in triangles and like ever more infinite ones. But with pi, they decided to find the circumference of the circle by like intuitively rolling the circle out, opening the
Mm,
circle, rolling it out, constructing it
mm,
into a cube, and then seeing how much it can be segmented and then
mm.
calculating it. It's so intuitive.
And going back to what I was saying at the beginning, this was fun for a couple of nights. But now when I don't do it, I get pissed off with myself. Like I gotta make time to
Right.
do them. But now it's
Right.
not fun anymore. I'm like,
Right.
like last night I didn't like. I was so tired. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, but then I woke up this morning. Oh, yeah, I haven't studied this. And I'm like, you're not a serious person. Like, why are you even doing that? Like, you just do things like for 2 days, and then, so
Right.
that sort of thing is like becomes like things don't stay fun because I make it too serious. Like even like when I was going for running for like I started like saying like, okay, I've ran under 25 minutes, I ran under 24 minutes. Like if I don't run under 24 minutes, what's the point of going for a run? And like the whole mentality changes, and I start putting these uh
Benchmarks, goalposts, metrics.
benchmarks that
Yeah.
shouldn't be even realistic, but I expect myself to do it because I've done it maybe sometimes on some things in my life that I like was exceptionally good. But like this also arrogant mentality to think that I can do it, but then the reality also hits that everyone has limitations, but then you just leave it alone. You're like, okay, like, this isn't. I don't want to do it. Like there's too much like whole mental um battle in my head to do it. So I'm like, okay,
Okay, like,
let's just give
let
up
me
on
go
it.
through a quick checklist with you. Let me go through a quick checklist with you. Yes or no answers, right? Number one.
No,
Do you,
no.
do you frequently start projects and then give them up? I mean, like new projects.
Thing is, that's very like, what is frequently? What do you mean
It's
by
a yes or
frequent?
no answer, mate.
I'm
It's a
turning
yeah.
into
It's a yes
Jordan.
or look,
I'm
look, look,
turning to
look, look.
Jordan
Your body
Peterson.
language has changed.
What?
You're becoming defensive. You don't want to answer the questions. Let's answer the question, yes or no. If you don't want to play the game, just say no. It's fine. It's fine.
um, you know why I can't answer it? Because like I have to know what you mean by frequently. Because if I say yes, it feels like I'm trying to say, oh, I got. Oh, you see how people now like put issues on themselves to say like they
Yeah,
have some sort of personality that.
yeah.
So
I'm
if
not
I
trying to
just put it,
pathologize you.
but
I'm not
I
trying
really
to
need to know
pathologize you.
like what do you mean by frequently? Like, I have a lot of ideas that I can't follow up, but it's just due to time as well. So, um, I guess it's a sort of a like I have too like that's one of the issues. I guess I have too many open projects that I don't get to do them, and that's gets I get pissed off about it. So I guess
Well, I
it's
think
yes.
I think you answered the question indirectly, right? Like by
Mm,
virtue of having too many open projects, one could
mm,
surmise that you
mm,
start many projects. Okay, let's move
yeah.
on to another one. Question number two. Do you frequently feel burnt out because of your workload?
Hmm. I don't know what burnt out means. I know what
Are
burnt
we go-
out means, but what's the feeling of being burnt out?
as in like shattered, mentally, physically, cognitively exhausted, emotionally depleted?
I would say I had 2 weeks off, and that going back to work, I could see the difference in my mentality and like the my personality and everything. Like how
Right,
much more relaxed I was when I was still working, but I was working on the projects that I actually like to do rather than
right,
trying to pay the rent.
right.
Um, it's not like my job I hated, but again, anything that you end up doing a contract with and you turns into you supposed to do it for a certain time, it becomes something else. It becomes a contract rather than your passion. So what was your question?
Well,
I actually forgot.
my follow-up question was going to be: do you regularly lose track of sentences and subject matter within communication settings? So I think that's a yes, isn't
Nah,
it?
I think that's a no. That's a no. I
Nah,
always
nah.
that's one thing about me. I always remember what was the previous question.
Do you find yourself losing things regularly?
um, I've never lost it. Always had it.
You know what? This is beyond my expertise. It's impossible for me to continue with this. No. All jokes aside, I understand where you're coming from. I think you're a high achiever, like intellectually and in terms of like career. But I also think you like require stimuli, and you require like maybe high doses of dopamine in terms of like exercise, achieving things, getting that gratuity stimulus release from doing something new, which is why you maybe switch through projects. I don't think that's inherently bad or wrong. I think when it becomes excessive, then it becomes deleterious. But arguably, you could say that this is the reason why humanity is where we are right now. We need people who are on the fringe, people who always strive, people who always want more, people who achieve more. That's what pushes human progress forward. Another thing you could say is that because for the vast majority of human history, we haven't existed in this kind of like technologically ubiquitous abundance world. So the things that we were focusing on achieving were very marginal. They weren't things that were in every aspect of our life to optimize. So the fact that we live in this constant availability, this constant superabundance, it can become overwhelming and stressful because there's so much of it to attain, so much of it to achieve. Because if we think about the vast time span of human history, we're like in the 11th hour right now. The majority of our human history has been like foraging. The main thing we had to worry about was like not being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, you know? So perhaps the adaptation now is harder for some people because we still have that very atavistic neurochemistry. Just a theory, I don't know.
So do you think if I put a wild animal in my fat that always try to kill me, well, it will really change my focus on things. It will change it to survival.
Well, do you know, I mean, you joke, but like all jokes aside, I mean, I don't know if, I mean, there's big guns around. The big guns around. You might be able to shadow box the saber tooth. Who knows? You might be able to defeat it. But I do think that fight or fly response mechanism is almost like a resetting tool. You know, like if you have a really cold shower, the only thing you can think of is like heat preservation or getting out of the cold shower. You don't really have any time to feel pain or feel depressed. And I think that's the same with when we were faced with life or death situations. Right now, we have a constant fight or fly mechanism. It's just not the same as it was before. You'd have to like run for 100 meters, escape a saber-toothed tiger, get out of the way, and then you come back down to base levels. Now it's constant stresses, just in a different level, like raised cortisol, raised serotonin, raised dopamine, raised adrenaline. Your body's constantly, and I think some people are better adapted to that. Some people aren't. Like for me personally, I'm able to switch off so easily, like, and not think of anything. Maybe that's because of my inherent lack of cognitive ability. I don't know. Maybe you're just really smart. But I'm able to switch off entirely. And that's just, I don't know. Maybe that's just different. Wiring.
But firstly, I gotta add, like, that's not my reaction to a cold shower. When a cold shower hits, I'm like, oh, water. You're so cold.
Touching me in places.
Oh.
What's that rolling down my back? Haven't seen you in a while. Hydrogen. But let me ask you another thing, Ashkan. Do you think your propensity to make jokes out of everything is, instead of it being derived from wit and humor, a coping mechanism instead?
Oh, I definitely think that is to an extent, especially like at work. I joke a lot, and I can, like, people think it's just I'm just being funny. It's just I don't want to be dead.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
like, it is like people in prison or people like in offices. I always think like it's saying like people during war in like even like I mean it might be a weird thing to compare, but just to pass the time, it is a coping mechanism that you start joking and try to change your mood
I
and
mean,
escape the
they call
boredom.
it gallows humor. There's a whole term for it. There's a whole like psychological field for it.
What is it called again?
Gallows humor.
Gallows. Okay, before you go to the gallows.
Well, yeah, you know, it's like there's that often that state of peace just before there's impending doom. But I think I think many people use humor as a coping mechanism, and they often say, "What is a sign of someone who's come from a traumatized background?" and it's that I'm not saying that you have, by the way, but one of the, like, lots of cognitive therapists have come up with this theory that many children who have to cope with a lot of adverse childhood experiences use humor to cope, and they also come from households or backgrounds that are inherently depressive. So it could be in a situation or an environment or a parental engagement where the situation has been depressive, and the child has had to use humor to not only get themselves out of that malaise, but also to elevate their parents out of it as well. And many comedians, they did this whole study on comedians, and a lot of them came out of homes where they literally had to use humor as either a coping mechanism, a defensive mechanism, or a way to alleviate the plight of their parents.
I see. Um, so Donald Trump in his
Let me move on with a joke.
no, but I did lost because I was thinking like how much of it is true with my life, and like the thing with it is like I always have to be like try. I think most people have to have that. Like most people maybe don't have it, and because the memories are false and you can be impressionable. So
Mm,
if you say like, did you have a sad childhood? You can immediately go to your sad memories and
yeah,
imagine, oh, you had a sad childhood, but like that's not the whole uh your whole childhood. And so you have to be careful using your memories to try to see what your issues are today. I
for
mean,
sure.
you can like go back to them, but you also have to take everything with a pinch of salt.
Yeah,
Um, but what I was going to say, like, in regards to a couple of things, in regards to what you were saying about like having a stimuli and how things were. I use war again as an example. Like soldiers in war, there is sort of like a not happiness, but there is like a things are simple.
yeah,
You're fighting for survival against an enemy,
yeah.
and a lot of soldiers they especially like I remember Iran Iraq war, they came and they wanted to go back because things were just too many things happening like in the real world in the that you don't want to deal with this sort of conniving people, whereas things are simple out there. You just go and you either die or you survive, and goals are simple. You try to take back the country or take whatever or defend your country. um and that's sometimes it's an easier way to live, especially that there might be no future as well. That's just sort of a freedom to it, that yeah, you're living day by day, just taking everything in. You're not worried about your mortgage, not paying like your rent in 6 months time. um
They say
it's
the
just
same thing about the institutionalized setting of prison. They say the same thing.
that's so weird that that's the second point I was going to make.
Right, right.
I sometimes like it sounds silly as well. I sometimes have this fantasy of being like in solitary confinement and
Yeah.
just with books. I'm like, that's so easy. I
Wow.
can just read books and just not worry about anything. And because I haven't got many options, I don't need to feel guilty about any of the
Right,
options.
right.
So, but and it's sort of a comfort thing in my head. But I know, like, obviously, if I go to prison, a pretty face like this is going to be so much in demand.
I'm not surviving. We're not
I'll
surviving too long here
I
with
won't
this.
have any time reading books.
Oh my goodness, Ashkan. But how do you cope with it then? How do you continue if you have this constant like repressive system of thoughts, or this system of or this way of thinking that kind of fights against your own well-being? How do you continue it? How do you rationalize it? Is it just that, you know what? I've got to keep this pretty face moisturized. I've got to
Uh,
keep a roof over my head. Like what is it? What's the impetus to continue? Or is it that it's too overwhelming to think that you'll give up and then be crushed by the impending defeat?
yeah, I mean, I'm saying it not now. We are focusing on it, but it's not like as bad as I'm putting it. Because we're focusing on this point, like it's not like a constant thing. But like if you ask me like what do I want to do in 5 years time, what's my plan, like what is it and I'm like, I actually don't know, because I right now have to deal with what is in front of me, and it's been like that for such a long time that I don't think I'm that much like interesting person anymore, because
Right.
like I'm not interesting maybe for myself or for someone else who asks like, what do you do, like I'm meeting this deadline. That's what I'm doing. What you doing?
That's what I'm
Oh,
doing
I got
right
to
now.
this deadline. Yeah, that's what's important. But I don't think it's that bad, and also like I like achieving, and I like I do enjoy like getting down to things, um projects, really, like the projects that I like that's where I get my joy from. Um, but then there are so many of them. If I tell you, like I got these old letters that I need to decipher. I want to make this thing with ChatGPT to be able to read Persian alphabet, like a handwritten alphabet. Also, I got these old Persian photos that I want to create this thing with Amazon face recognition to be able to recognize all the like Iranians from back in the day, and like have this like 2000 photos to see if we can recognize everyone. Um, I got some old tapes, 8mm tapes that I need to. I've bought like 50 of them, and I want to like go through each one and see what's the story of them. What else? Yeah, I want to make some videos on YouTube about Iran, but like properly edited. I want to do this podcast, get this podcast going. I got my own work, obviously. I got two jobs that I do. Um, I want
Wait,
to go
have you
to the
just
gym.
bitten enough more than you can shoot? Is it just more than any human can manage? I know you think you're like uh superhuman, um, but is it just more than you can actually handle? And is that why it's inherently depressing? Not
Yes,
depressing, but it's overwhelming. You know.
yes, but I can't do it any other way. Like to accept the limitation, it's very depressing as well.
But I mean, if you even had two of those projects, surely the benefit derived from achieving like an outcome in two projects is much better than what you'd face and endure by having all of them on the go at once, but not really achieving much from them.
Uh, yeah, I think feel like I need to be somewhere in life that I'm not, and I'm just like
Where?
struggling. Like it's like being in the middle
Where?
of ocean trying to like swim to the shore, but doing too much, also almost getting yourself
Is this
drowned
just a
because you're.
midlife crisis? Is this what that is? Is this a midlife crisis, or have you felt like this always?
No, it's always was like that. Like even when we were doing A levels, I remember I was retaking them, and what was his name? Mr. Silverman was telling me like, do you want to do like 3 A levels at a time, like 3 exams, get deals done? And I was like, no, I need to do all 16 at the same time, or nothing. I
Wow.
was failing them every time. Like, but I was like, no, 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 I failed them because of this and that. And I was like, well, obviously, if you just can like for free, it'd be much easier. I was like, no, I got some things wrong. If I do this, but I don't know why I need to do this superhuman feat to sort of say to myself like, it's okay to love me.
Maybe you have something to prove, Ashkan. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that in a judgmental way. Maybe you have like a deficit mindset that
yeah,
you have something to prove.
yeah.
But where does it come from? Because the root of the problem is often where the solution lays as well.
Well, it's obvious, and I know, and we talked about it as well. I think in another
Right,
episode. I don't know
right,
if you, but
right.
it is to a point down to the fact that I'm saying like from childhood. Oh, Ash is so intelligent. His IQ is so high. He needs to do this. He can do this. When he grows up, he'll be this. He'll be that. Or he'll change
Right.
the world. And so, as a child, when that is instilled into you, if you end up not doing all that, you just feel like not fail, but you just see you like there's like a invisible hand directly you to goals that you have to achieve, and that's how you define yourself,
It must
rather
have
than
been
like
super confusing to have Pikachu tell you all of those things. Pikachu was like, "Yeah, Ashkan, you're so fun, you're so good. Oh man, Ashkan, oh, evolve me into a Charizard. You're gonna save me. Collect the gold coin." That's what must have been super confusing. In fact, I think we've solved 30 years of trauma. I think we've realized what it is.
that was
No, but
good. That was good. You asshole.
I don't mean to belittle that because that's hard on any child, and with the experience I have,
Pikachu.
with the experience I have with children, that's hard on any child because you often find that the most intelligent children are the ones that find failure the hardest to countenance, and they find it the hardest to manage, and
Yeah.
they can't deal with any kind of failure. They can't deal with any adversity in life because they've constantly been told. I don't even think it's society or the parents' fault because if we didn't encourage these super intelligent children, they'd get demotivated anyway.
Mm.
Um, but man, I don't know. Maybe you're just not happy with your job. Maybe you're just like most other people in life and just questioning your raison d'etre. Like, why am I here? What is my purpose here? Like, why am I? What? Maybe you're just bored of it. You spend your entire existence, Ashkan, doing very noble pursuits, very intellectually stimulating pursuits, but at the same time, highly, highly evocative and borderline depressing. Like most of the things you cover are like borderline depressing, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna
Like
catch up
something,
eventually,
some things I can't even like this last thing was about this young woman that his father like was on a killing, and the video of it I couldn't watch it.
right?
I read the description. I was like, yeah, I can't watch this because the description was so gruesome. I was like, I won't deal with this story at all. Like
Right?
I'm at that point that yeah, I can't like
So juxtapose that against
but
like me.
here's the
I'm
thing
like,
though,
yeah, go on.
now that we've turned this into my therapy session, but I couldn't stop going back and keep looking at her photos, just
Really?
thinking about like what happened. Yeah, and I was
Really?
looking, trying to find the father's photo, but I couldn't find it. But the weird thing that it was in my head like for 2 days that I couldn't go on. Like I don't see what was the point of watching it anyway. Um, that it was all over internet as well, like in the Persian world, because it was like that's a good thing that it was all over the internet because people are just very fed up with this sort of culture of honor killing that happens in a lot of parts of Middle East. In Iran, it happens as well, but I think at least the mentality isn't like oh well, it's the father, he can do whatever he wants. Like a majority of people are like saying like the because I think the law is set in a way that the fathers can pretty much get away with it because he's the custodian.
It's a huge
And
problem.
yeah, and if there is nobody like, it's either it has to be the government who will prosecute the father if they choose to, but they might not be. What are you doing? Your image is going to be.
Did my image
Don't do that.
disappear?
Yeah, no, you're 90 tilted 90 degrees.
Am I?
Yeah,
Oh, let me
do
fix
that.
that.
Your walls,
Am I back?
your walls upside down. Yeah, you're back in. Anyway, never mind that. But you were saying, yeah, depressing. Yeah, maybe you're right.
There could be that. There could be that. And I find it profoundly sad, not in like a derogatory way, that you feel like you can't enjoy, I don't know, like going to the beach or something. Your mind can't switch off to like enjoy moments like that, you know?
It's not
Um,
that I don't enjoy. I even judge people who do it. I
right.
look like if I'm honest, like if someone says like I'm going to a beach to relax for a day, I'm like, yeah. Is that what you want
Really?
to do with your
What?
life?
What? Because there's no payout. Well, there's no like fruition. Why?
Like, what is it like going? Like, what are you doing there, sitting there, just?
Relaxing. I don't know, like thinking about life,
Why
enjoying
would you
the
relax?
splendor
Like,
of God's universe,
as
enjoying
I'm
the
drinking
ocean,
more,
enjoying being one with nature. I don't know.
as I had a coffee and now I'm having a Red Bull. Why would you relax?
What more do you want? I've got this Red Bull and this coffee. Idiot. What more do you want in life?
I'll relax.
Don't you see me? I don't need the beach.
I was at the beach this morning, and it's in London. We don't even have a beach.
I only go on the beach to do long distance running. That's all the only reason I'm there for. Nothing else.
Having said that, that reminds me of, do you know David Goggin?
David who?
Goggin
No.
is this guy who does long distance, very long distance running.
Oh, is he that black guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Bald
Stay,
heads.
yeah, stay hard.
Yeah.
Like he's turned into parody of himself, but he's sort of like a like someone who like said like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like he keeps
Right?
running and like putting himself in like like he is like I have nothing on him because like he's that crazy. Like he puts himself in difficult situation all the time to like he has this mentality that you have to stay hard, which is there's
But
no
what for? What war is he
no running
preparing
away
for?
from. There's no running away from it. Maybe he's not staying hard in other departments. That's why he has to overcompensate of staying hard.
what what
But we have a
war
pill
are
for
all
it
of
now,
these men
man. You don't
preparing
need to
for?
go running for for hours and hours.
Right?
But yeah, I don't know where that stems from as well. But I also find him to be a bit like pointless, like doing that as well. Like, what is the point of keep pushing yourself out, like going for 100 miles run, going for 105 miles? Like, what is the end goal there? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, like what is for me is noble in life, like discovering something new. Not that I've actually discovered something, but maybe learning about things. Like, discovering could be personal discovery. Like if you
Yeah, but
learn,
that's what he's doing, Ashkan. He's discovering how much he can destroy his kneecaps. Like he's on a personal journey of discovery to see how far he can run away from the bedroom so he doesn't have to prove that he can stay hard for 17 hours from the woman he just let down who's made him, forced him into this constant pursuit of betterment because he has to stay hard because she told him, why can't you stay hard? Why can't you stay hard?
it's just the image of him naked putting the shoes on, then putting the rest of the clothes on.
Right?
Going
But
through
what
that.
I've seen of that guy, what I've
Yeah.
seen of him, he literally looks like he has no capacity for joy. He looks like he can't be happy. He looks like he
Mm,
has zero happiness within him.
mm.
So, like, I don't know, it comes at a cost, right?
Yeah, but I mean, happiness comes in different forms, right? Like, I think some people are happy when they don't smile and miserable. There is truth into that. Like, there is comfort in some things. Oh, I have some delivery. Let me just get this. Anyway, sorry about
So,
that.
did you get the 100 milligram or the 50 milligram Viagra this time?
What is that? 100.
Did you get the 100?
Oh, to stay hard, is it?
Mate,
Oh, sorry. It was the same woman who delivered yesterday as well, but she didn't bring it up. I think she has decided to bring the things up because we have two doors, so she usually left it as the
at
first
what
gate.
point did you think I was interested in the logistics of your apartment? I am seriously not. I'm not, mate. So
I'm
what else?
surprised. Usually, you're all about how delivery works. Aren't you the guy who watched the tracks?
Who what?
You just order things, and because you enjoy the joy of tracking the items from the warehouse. 11:30. I wonder if they deliver it to their local warehouse in 12:30. What routes they take? Anyway, dude, let's move on to something else. Let's move on to you, Mr. Perfect.
I'm by
Sitting
no means
there.
perfect
Uh,
whatsoever. I'm
uh,
by no means perfect whatsoever. In fact, I think for a very long time, I am what is I'm opposite to you. I find it very easy to relax. I find it very easy to find like pleasure in small achievements. I find it very enjoyable to sit at the beach. I find it very guiltless to pursue like what you might consider to be mundane. But I think in some ways we are similar, but it's just that the manifestations of the experience are different. So your coping mechanism is to pile into work, is to try and be as productive as you can. Try and be as like fruitful and as useful to society as you can.
sorry. You got
All right. When I'm opening up, this guy just walks away. It's okay, Justin. Compounding my childhood experiences of abandonment on the screen as we speak right now. Just being abandoned again. Away goes. And I wonder
Hi
why
guys,
I'm in this experience.
welcome to my unboxing video.
I was just saying, I've just been. Thank you for abandoning me during my monologue. I think my childhood experiences do stem from abandonment. So when I was just speaking about that, it was very fitting for you to walk off and leave. Oh, I actually am just going to get a package. I mean it. I am going to collect something. I'm just going down the street for 5 minutes. I mean it. I'm back. But no, I think it manifests differently. I think your coping mechanism is to be an overachiever, where my mechanism was to kind of shut the world out. I've got a very uncanny ability to forget things. I don't mean like forgetting where I put my keys or forgetting where I put my wallet. I mean, if something adverse happens to me, I can move on from it so quickly. So I think what you're describing are two parts of a different coin. Some people cope by piling into it, achieving a lot. Other people cope by just blocking it all out.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, that's assuming that like my issues coming from a trauma, which I think everyone's have trauma.
They all come from trauma.
Yeah,
If you haven't addressed what it is or ascertained what it is yet, then that's the first step.
yeah, but I don't believe that you say like you find joy in little things and you enjoy and relax and you're like, oh yeah,
Well, you know what? Maybe I
10,000.
don't.
You know why?
Yeah,
Because I think it's your personality that because I said that you are saying something else. You
maybe,
are actually
maybe.
quite also you're doing 10 things at a time yourself.
Yeah,
You're
it's true.
doing
It's
your
true.
stock
I mean,
stuff. You're doing your options. You are a
it's true.
teacher.
It's true.
So
It's
yeah,
true. It's just that, okay, maybe the difference is this, Ashkan. Maybe the difference is, for me, I don't get debilitated by it. And I'm not trying to say, like, I'm a Ubermensch or anything, or I'm a Superman, or like I'm better than you. But
what
I
you're
just
saying
think.
is I'm the man. You are the man that I crave to be. I'm like everything you are, but I just I do it rather than just stop self-hating.
No amount of shadow boxing, Red Bull drinking will get you to my level. Impossible. Okay. It's not going to happen. Just stay in your lane, bro.
Uh,
Nah, I do think, no, you're right. The more I say it, the more I think of it, the more I like realize that I do have a lot of those things going on. But you know, I was talking to someone recently. I've got into this habit of like talking to random people online
mm,
just because I find it difficult to like make new friends in a country that the language is predominantly different to my own, not just linguistically but like culturally as well. So I've been talking to people online, and the amount you could open up to a complete stranger is actually unbelievable, right? It's actually
mm,
unbelievable. But in that process, I have determined. Many people in my life have said like to me, "Oh, you know what? Like you are exhibiting a lot of symptoms of like ADHD." And the
mm.
more I read about it, the more I kind of think maybe they're onto something there. Maybe they've got something to do with it, you know. But I think this whole ability, or I don't know if it's an ability, but this whole propensity to try and do so many things at once, but then kind of fail at a lot of them, I
Mm.
think is admirable and noble because like that's where innovation comes from. But at the same time, I think it can be symptomatic of something deeper going on.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. No, I think there's some truth into what you do. The difference with you is, I don't know, maybe it is the same, but I think you have a lot of side projects that you actually don't tell anyone. You are, I think, much
Mm.
more actually secretive than me. Like in terms of opening things up, and you're like, oh yeah, so like I have this whole career going on the side that nobody knew about, which is good. I think it makes you more serious about things because like
I
one of
learned
the
to do that though. I learned to do that because I don't know if you remember me before, but I used to always publicize what I was doing and then nothing would ever get done. But then I started to realize that the more I don't say about it, the more efficacious it is, the more
yeah.
I achieve. I don't know how that works or why that works, but
I think
it just is.
truth to that. It's sort of like when I used to write, I realized with that, like, what story are you working on? And I tell this story and I never write it. Like, you get that sort of, for the lack of better word, mental masturbation with it. That
Right.
you sort of feel like you already achieved it, or that craving for it is gone. You sort of play it in your head, but once if you keep that tension in you that you want to do it, and you just keep it to yourself, and like you want to maybe get to the end, but you don't get that joy out of like playing it out. I think that does help. So having said that, I'm worried about all the things that I want to do, and I said it loud now that I hadn't actually told
Well, I mean,
people.
on one side of the coin, because we have such ubiquitous communication, we can say
Mm,
whatever we want to people. But on the other hand, because there is so much ubiquitous technology,
mm,
people
mm.
forget things as soon as they say it because
Yeah,
everyone's in their own bubble. You know,
yeah.
no one's truly listening to what you're saying, unless it's like your close friend. No one really truly cares, and that's like a hard thing to come to reality with, which is most of the people around you actually either actively think you're going to fail or are silently rooting for you to fail because it makes them question their own competitive streak. It makes them question their own motivation, their own productivity. In my experience, and it might not be replicatable in a wider setting, but in my experience, the people around you don't want you to succeed as much as you might automatically assume that they do. So
But
telling them, there is no reason to tell them.
that is true. I see what you mean. But is that how you feel as well about others?
I feel like humanity is inherently avaricious. They're fundamentally jealous, and they are instinctively comparative. I don't think that's a wrong attribute. I think it's a necessary attribute for humans to have in order for us to progress as a species, to protect our progeny, and to make sure that we're a viable going concern into the future. It's instinctive, it's coded within us. But I do think that is the vast majority of society. People do not like to see people doing better than them. Comparison is the thief of all joy, and we all compare ourselves. It's just varying how we deal with it. Some people might see someone have something and go and kill them for it, whereas another person might be on the other side of the spectrum and say, I'm going to work my utmost to get that. By nature, we are beasts and creatures of comparison. And it's very difficult and rare for someone to be genuinely and sincerely happy for a person. Even if it's your spouse, your parents, your sisters, your brothers, it's very rare to be genuinely happy for someone else's comparative success. Just think about it in your own life. If someone's got a promotion over you, if someone's achieved more wealth than you, if someone's got a better car than you, a better house than you, how can you actually say deep down you are truly, truly happy for them? Like truly, not superficially.
Well, like if we talk about work, with my work, I'm actually like a freelancer, even though like I've been asked to become an employee for, a few times. And one of the reason is that I don't want to play that game. I don't like
Yeah.
I'm also safe from others like bothering me as well. They know I'm just going on my own lane. I'm not going after that, mid management job, or I'm not going after that manager's job, because like I just have a contract here, and like I do my own thing. I might do 10 things,
right?
but like I'm in my own orbit, like so in that regard, like I can like stay off it. What I would say is I used to be much more generous with my knowledge and with whatever I learned, and like I just found it sort of insulting to myself to like keep anything to myself if I learned it for free, or and I like taught everyone like what I learned, like, oh, you can do this like that, it'd be faster, you can do that, and like experience showed me that like people aren't appreciative. They almost sometimes look down on you for giving them free stuff. Say, oh, he's stupid. Like he doesn't know that he's giving away an advantage. Sometimes some people are like that, and also people forget. Like you might be very nice to someone for a long
Yeah,
time, and after 2 months
100%.
they might completely forget that. And that comes I mean, I'm saying people like I've been guilty of that myself as well. Like at you get to a point of conflict in your life with someone, and you like treat them in a way, then like 2 months later you remember, like these, like that person was so nice to me last year, or
Right?
helped me out when I first started, and like why did I do that? Like, but I at the time I couldn't even remember any of that. So I think you have to be more strategic in your uh conduct with others. But still, feeling jealous, like I feel embarrassed for myself if I feel jealous about someone else's achievement.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've seen myself having a different attitude, having a bit more disappointment maybe if someone's who I think don't deserve get to somewhere as I'm getting older, and as I'm getting closer to the end line, which is still quite far away, but you can, and gave me a better understanding of others, because I've always been so arrogant to even not bother me if anyone, as I said, like I teach everyone whatever I learn, because I know I'm gonna learn more. I'm going to be in a different planet. Like I'm not even competing with you guys. But then you're like, okay, sometimes maybe you are competing, and it's not like, and the life isn't in a way that whoever knows the most, or whoever is the best at something, like they're gonna be the most successful. No, you have to play the game as well, because they
100%.
people do bring
100%.
you down in different ways. Like
Mm.
that, I'm particularly like I'm not adapting. Like if I'm like very good at learning things, but I'm not very good at um making bonds, like creating that like group mentality that others can, and like they have like a very like they can stay in a tension, like a tense situation, like social situation for a long time. I can't. I'd rather just leave if I see like I don't know, like there is like a lot of conflict with like colleagues or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, this I can't be bothered with this. I just go somewhere else. And that person, it means too much for them to like let go of something. I'm just using like as general examples. So the point was that yeah, sometimes maybe you don't feel happy for other people for the success, and I understand that. I don't feel like that still, but I can see that life can makes you that way, or you can be just that way by just never being that good at anything and
Look,
wondering
I
why.
100%. Look, your own personal successes in some way kind of compensate for the feeling that other people are doing better than you. If you
uh,
don't have any personal successes, everyone around you is going to be a comparative competitor, right? Now, when you spoke about like the generosity of
uh,
imbuing people with other knowledge, I'd actually dive deeper into that and question whether or not you were being generous for the fact of sharing knowledge, or whether or not you were looking for a response from those people of gratitude and of thinking this person is like kind, intellectual, clever, and exhibiting largesse. That's another thing. I believe jealousy exists on a curve. Everyone experiences it in some way or other. It could be momentary, or it could last days, weeks, or years. But that initial pang of feeling, that initial reaction, whether it's a chemical or whether it's actually physical, or it's a physiognomy in terms of like your facial expressions, it exists. People, you can't hide it. You can't get away from it. You might
Uh,
be able to say and rationalize it and say, yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm doing well, so why should I be jealous about that person? But the initial response, the initial mechanism, is very rare for people not to feel slighted or to experience some kind of competitive disadvantage on
mhm.
that curve of experience in terms of other people doing well. But I would definitely dive into the point about being generous with your knowledge, because often it's not about educating, it's not about imbuing people with knowledge, it's about gaining a response mechanism, whether it's someone thinking you're super smart, someone thinking you're super kind, or someone thinking something else. You touched on something else as well about like the availability of being around. Carl Jung, the psychiatrist and psychologist, he spoke about availability and about how when you're around all of the time you become less valuable. So if you're always there, offering your advice, offering your knowledge, offering your presence, offering your emotional, temporal well-being and time, people discount it. And that goes to your point more. People become ungrateful. People don't think about you as much, and good deeds are never remembered in the hearts of men. Because you
Mhm.
think, I was so kind to that person, but that person is treating me like absolute shit right now. Because over availability, according to Young, breeds contempt. Familiarity breeds contempt. And it devalues the value that you present to people if it's always there.
Mm. No, no, that is. Well, I don't know what's the but like it. This is observation of coffee, but what is the reason? Why does it breeds contempt? And does he
Well,
explain why?
I mean, the way that I've read about it, the way that it's been described is that an over familiarity to a person reduces the inhibitions. You become more comfortable around that person. It's no longer a formal setting, and then the idiosyncrasies of the person can seep into the communication and to the bond between two people. So something that completely innocuous with a person that you meet for only 1 hour, it can even be endearing. Oh, that person. Oh, Ashkan's a quirky guy. Look, he walks around with tight trousers and his guns out. Ah, he's quirky. But if I saw you doing it every single day, it might become contemptuous. It's the same in terms of intellectualism or affectations or idiosyncrasies. An over familiarity with it breeds a disarming contempt, is the way I
Mm.
understand it anyway. It's why you can love your family so much, but also have a deep, deep dislike of them. You've been with
Mm.
them for so long, and you had this idea of love, and you had this idea of being wronged over the past. But those two things can coexist at the same time. The familiarity can turn into the contempt, in my understanding of it, anyway.
Yeah, and it's the same with parents as well. Like sometimes parents are like, "I love my children, but I don't like
Right?
them."
Right?
it's,
I've heard
it's
my own mum say that. I've heard
mm,
my own mum say that. Not about me, of course, but about my. I've heard my mum say that. I love
mm,
them, but at times I don't like them.
yeah.
And let's be honest, that's what happens. It's reality,
Yeah, which is weird. That we are like that. I lost the train of my thoughts again. Thoughts again. You was making such a good point. It was just I completely forgot now. Um,
well, you know, that takes me back to point number 3, constantly forgetting the trail of communication. And it also ties me into the whole thing about you being super generous with your knowledge and time. Maybe that's more of a trait of narcissism. Maybe you're not actually
oh yeah,
waiting to.
that it was something alongside that. But yeah, carry on with it.
Maybe you're not talking in a conversation. Maybe you're just waiting to talk. You're not actually in the conversation. You're just waiting for your turn to talk. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I see that in you quite a lot because you do cut me off often,
No, but do you know
and you
what?
don't even
I
wait for your
agree.
turn.
I agree. Do you know the reason I can say it is because I'm in it. I am noticing it because I am of it. Like I
uh,
embody that. I
yeah.
literally cut people off all of the time. I sometimes I forget what they've said because I've got my own idea of how I'm going to talk about it, how I'm going to sound intelligent, how I'm going to articulate myself, and it completely disengages me from any conversation. I
Yeah.
actively have to try to keep myself present in the conversation.
That's yeah, that was something I wanted to point out. Like I was at this party, yeah, I don't remember when, but just going to it, I was like, oh, I haven't got anything to say to these people. Like the fear of just having a small talk with people, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like at this point in my life, I can't have a small talk. But I think I've just learned something which might be actually weird. I don't know, but it might help that if I actually pay attention to people and try to see how they live their lives, like this person, like as a like I see them as a story, like I can
Yeah,
actually be interested in someone, like how many
100%,
siblings they got, who do they, like how do they feel, like what they
a hundred
do,
percent,
like even if they're
a
like
hundred percent.
they haven't got anything interesting to say, they don't do anything interesting, like just learning about the person, really trying to learn.
Right?
It still comes from a sort of a sociopathic, psychopathic way of seeing
Yes.
people as subjects, but
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
least it makes it bearable for me.
Well,
But
but
no,
that
it
makes
makes you
sense.
sort of try to empathize with people,
Yeah.
maybe. Again, I don't know. It is sort of, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it as well. It's just, uh,
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but do you know what it does highlight? It highlights that everyone's favorite word in the world is their own name. Everyone would love to talk about themselves. You going into a room worrying about like small chat, everyone else there is also worrying about that small chat. But people invariably love the sound of their own name and they love to be given the chance to talk about themselves. So even if you're going into it thinking that it's a sociopathic tendency, it is a really good way to like conquer social dynamics. And it
mm,
also kind of gets the attention off of you as well. You know,
yeah,
it gets because you'll be so surprised about how little people actually ask you about yourself when you're asking them about them.
that is true. That is. And I actually, I think I don't like talking about myself. Like even when you were saying like, "Oh, you're an overachiever," I was trying stopping myself to say, "No, no, I'm not. I haven't achieved anything." Like I was feeling sort of not embarrassed, but sort of feeling awkward, saying like, "Yeah, I haven't. Like, I don't think I deserve that title at all."
Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, that's
I
something deeper to address as well. That's something deeper to address. When people say to me, "Oh, like, oh, well done, you did something," I find it cringeworthy. I'm like, please
yeah,
stop. Like,
you,
stop. Like, honestly, just don't. I can't take it. And then when I respond, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, cheers. And it's like, the response is not worthy of what they said.
but come
You
on,
know?
man, you're 6'4", you make over 100K. Yeah, that's what women want. Do you remember we're referring to a video that we watched of this guy?
666, six pack, 600, 100K, six figures, and 6 foot. Bloody hell.
Yeah,
And
but
didn't he also say, "Oh, and adding to the fact that I'm black"? Come on, man.
oh, there's you do the math.
But I don't know. I think he confused the letter B with the number six. I mean, they look
Yeah,
quite similar. I don't,
yeah.
I don't remember any time when like being black was like a selling factor. But hey, if that's the world we're living in, I'm all for it because you're like
You
a
know
person
what?
of
What?
color.
You know what's even weirder? I'm going to use that from now on. And none of it's true.
you're you're going down the
5'8".
Piers Morgan line,
I'm actually six
identifying
foot
as a
four.
black man with six figures, 6 feet, and a six pack.
I just look at people like, yeah, I think I'm the shit. uh, yeah, I keep forgetting though the things I wanted to say. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it. To be honest,
Yeah, I mean,
unless you want to
that's
talk
about
about
it.
anything else.
I mean, not today, but I am this week up for. I know you're busy at work, so feel free to tell me to piss off. But this week I'm up for recording every evening if you're up for it.
Evenings actually I can't do because I'm at work, but in the mornings I
Nah, I
actually
can't
can.
do it because I'm actually at work. So
Okay.
yeah, so it might have to be a weekend thing.
So yeah, Friday, Saturday, tomorrow I can do one if you want.
I can't do it. I'm at work. We start the week on Sunday here.
Evening, tomorrow evening.
Oh, evening. Yeah, for sure I can do it.
There we go. Done.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Arrivederci. Bye.
You too. But
Yeah.
don't close the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
studio thing. Let it upload. Yeah.
Wait. I'll wait.
No, you can stop it, but don't, I think,
Yeah.
leave the whole thing. Yeah.
Do you not
I'll
think that